if we look at national education systems, most of these national education systems originated in the 19th century, and they were based on the way people worked at the time. So this is Industrial Revolution period, and people were working very much by themselves. They were working at machines, or they were working at these sort of automated elements where they were assembling things, and there wasn't the focus on people communicating with each other, collaborating, or presenting something. And that very much transformed into how classrooms were organized. So it's astonishing to see the similarities here between a 19th century classroom and a 19th century workplace. And if we look at classrooms over time, over the last decades, centuries even, it's surprising how little has changed here. So this is a classroom in the 1950s, I think, or late 1940s. And this is a classroom in 2013. And the general setup, the general dynamics of that classroom have changed very, very limitedly. But if we look at the same time at how our workplaces have changed, then we see a very fundamental change has happened, which is just not reflected in most of our education systems, in most of our classrooms. Now, does anybody know what office this is?
Google.
Yes, absolutely, Google. So this is a Google office, and yes, Google is an extreme, but I think it does highlight quite a lot of the, more recent developments in how we work together. The focus is on a meeting room, people working together, collaborating, talking to each other. Maybe there is a short presentation, but the focus is on generating new ideas with other people. The focus is on an informal setting, on a comfortable setting, making sure people are comfortable in the environments that they work, and in a way replicating living room spaces. So the borders between the formal workplace and the informal environment of the home is increasingly shifting and emerging, which just isn't reflected in our education systems. So having looked at why we should change the classrooms, it's fundamental to then think a bit about, well, how should we change our classrooms? And I want to look at one or two questions linked into that. The first thing is, what should be the focus of our teaching? I think this picture illustrates it quite nicely, the reality of the dynamics in many classrooms today, that the teacher is presenting knowledge, is presenting some kind of solutions to the class. Originally, the idea is that the teacher is the person that the students can go for answers. With technology increasingly coming into the classrooms via smartphones, for example, most of those answers can be found by the internet. So the situation that we have in many classrooms is that teachers are challenged by the students using the technology. And that's a very new situation that the teachers have to deal with. And it's a very new situation in regards to how the teacher should be working with the student. So we need to move away from that model of the teacher being very much the provider of content, of knowledge, but rather that the teacher is a coach, is a mentor that supports the students in developing a certain number of skills. And creativity being at the core of many of the new problems that we are facing. The problems we are facing are increasingly complex, so we can't find rote solutions to that. We need creative solutions to that. And then obviously communication and collaboration are part of developing creative solutions. The more we share ideas, the more we communicate with others, the better the solutions hopefully become. We all agree that there are opportunities that technology provides for our classrooms, for how we teach and learn. We teach today as we taught yesterday. We rob our children of tomorrow.